Have you ever stopped and thought about how we can see inside the human body without making a single cut? It's a technology we see all the time, but the story of how it actually came to be, well, it's absolutely amazing. So let's dive into the incredible journey of how we learned to literally see with sound. Right, so think about it. We navigate our entire world using light that bounces off things and into our eyes. Simple enough. But to peer deep inside the human body, to see something as miraculous as a developing baby, that requires a completely different approach. So, what's the big secret? How did we manage to turn something as invisible as a sound wave into a detailed, life saving picture? To answer that, we've got to go back. I mean, way back. Long before the very first ultrasound image was ever even imagined. This whole story doesn't start in a hospital or a clinic. Nope. It starts in a physics lab with a really strange and wonderful property of certain crystals. The key to this entire technology is something called the piezoelectric effect. Now, I know that sounds super complicated, but the idea is actually pretty simple. Just imagine you have a special kind of crystal, like quartz. If you squeeze it, if you apply that mechanical stress, it literally generates a tiny spark of electricity. That's the first piece of the puzzle. And here is the truly brilliant part. It works both ways. It's a two-way street. So you squeeze the crystal, you get electricity. But what happens if you apply electricity to the crystal? Well, it does the exact opposite. It vibrates really, really fast. And those vibrations create sound waves at a frequency so high we can't hear them. And that is what ultrasound is. And we have these two guys to thank for figuring this all out. Way back in 1880, it was the brothers Pierre and Jacques Curie who first discovered this amazing effect. You have to wonder if they had any idea that they were laying the groundwork for a technology that would, one day, completely change medicine as we know it. Okay, so we've got the basic principle down. Crystals can both create and listen for these high-frequency sound waves. But that's a long way from a clear picture of a kidney or a fetus, right? So how do you get from a simple vibrating crystal to a detailed medical image? Well, that's the next giant leap in our story. What's crucial here is that this didn't happen overnight. After the Curie's discovery in 1880, things were pretty quiet for a while. It wasn't until the 1950s that the medical potential was really unlocked by a pioneer named Ian Donald. But from that point on, things started moving fast. The tech went commercial in the 60s and then got a massive upgrade with Doppler in the 70s. Let's zero in on that pivotal moment in the 1950s. A Scottish obstetrician named Ian Donald. He's really the hero of this part of the story. He's the one who brilliantly figured out how to use the echoes of those sound waves to build a two-dimensional image. He called it B mode, and for prenatal care, it was an absolute game changer. And just look at what that early tech looked like. A little clunky, wouldn't you say? This machine here is a water bag scanner from 1960. The B in B mode actually stands for brightness. The machine sends out a sound pulse, waits for the echo, and the strength of that echo determines how bright a dot is on the screen. Then, by moving the scanner around, you could slowly build a 2D picture dot by dot by dot. So once the door was kicked open with obstetrics, the technology didn't just walk through. It exploded. The next couple of decades saw ultrasound evolve from this kind of niche tool into a full-blown medical powerhouse. Let's take a look at how that happened. A huge step forward was when these machines went commercial in the 1960s. That just made them way more available. And at the same time, the engineers were making huge improvements, moving beyond just simple black and white dots to full grayscale images. That gave the pictures so much more detail and texture. And then came another revolution, Doppler. You probably know the Doppler effect from the sound of a passing ambulance siren, how the pitch changes. Well, by applying that same exact principle to sound waves bouncing off red blood cells, doctors could suddenly see blood flow. That's what you're seeing here. The red and blue shows blood moving towards and away from the scanner. For anyone studying the heart, this was just incredible. And, of course, its original purpose in obstetrics only got stronger and stronger. With the images getting clearer every year, it became an absolutely essential tool for making sure babies were healthy and developing properly. And this really shows you just how incredibly versatile this technology is. The exact same idea could suddenly give you a crystal clear view of organs like the kidneys, or it could give you these amazing real-time videos of a beating heart. From one single concept, a whole toolbox of diagnostic instruments was born. So that brings us from the past right up to today. The evolution of ultrasound is just a perfect example of how technology doesn't just get better, it gets smaller, it gets smarter, and it gets into the hands of more people who can use it to save lives. I mean, just look at this comparison. On the left, you've got that gigantic scanner from 1960, and on the right, a modern probe that just plugs into a tablet. This one image says it all, capturing over 60 years of mind-blowing progress. What once took up an entire room now literally fits in the lab coat pocket. And that incredible shrinking act has had a massive impact. It created something we call point-of-care ultrasound. Think about it. In an ambulance, in an ER, a doctor can now get a critical look inside a patient in just seconds. They can make life or death decisions faster and with way more information than they ever could before. So, what's on the horizon? Well, the innovation is not slowing down, not by a long shot. We're seeing artificial intelligence being integrated to help analyze images, special contrast agents that make things light up more clearly, and even brand new techniques like elastography, which can actually measure how stiff tissue is, a huge clue for detecting disease. So, from a strange little property of crystals to a pocket-sized window into the human body, it's been a truly incredible journey. And it really makes you wonder, right? With all these new tools on the horizon, what other secrets are we about to uncover?